Hey everyone, welcome to Lady Overlander Radio. Tonight we're chatting with Lory Perfect. Stay tuned. Grab your favorite drink, whether it's a coffee, cocktail, or tea, and get ready. It's Ladies' Night on Lady Overlander Radio. The Lady Overlander Radio podcast is sponsored by Frontrunner Outfitters, Midland Radio, Go Treads, Sport Keg, CB Adventure Supply, Adventure Trail Outfitters, Overland Spices, and the More Expo. Hey Arla, hey girl, hey.
Hey girl, hey.
I missed you.
You missed me? I missed you.
Yeah.
Boo.
Mountain
Boo,
West
boo.
wasn't the same without you.
Of course not. Indiana wasn't the same with this year.
It was still fun though, but I'm not gonna lie. But I did miss you very much.
It looked like there might have been some rain. I saw somebody's feet in the water.
Yeah, it was raining, and then it was sunny, and then it was cold, and then it was hot. You know, Colorado.
And it was windy.
And windy. Yeah.
All the things. Looked like a good turnout though.
Yes, we did. We had a great turnout for the Ladies Overland Lounge. We did several different classes, everything from finding locations to trail wrenching for women. Tara did that class, which was awesome. Solo female travel tips, all different kinds of stuff. It was a really good time, and we had a really good turnout. And in 2 weeks, we'll be up in Idaho for the Teton Overland Show. And woo, puppy dog.
That wasn't me, just for the record.
Hey, Dylan. Told you, Dylan. Sorry.
It's all good.
I got a
Doggy
jungle
wants to be
here. I
on
got a zoo here.
My dog's at my feet right now, so we're good.
Yeah, Lori's in Costa Rica, so she's got a whole jungle around her right now. So she's house sitting and puppy sitting and kitty cat sitting and parrot sitting and I'm sure all kinds of other critter sittings.
Pool sitting.
Howler monkeys outside all the time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, so we have Teton Overland Show, and then I just talked to Chris Holloway from More Expo. He also does Big Iron Overland Rally. We got some classes scheduled for that at the end of the month, at the end of September. And then Expo East.
Yep.
And then you'll be doing Rendezvous in the Ozarks.
Yep.
And I think that's it for the season. I hope.
And who knows?
Goodness. Yes.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I hope so. We'll take a winter break. Everybody will chill, gather themselves, and we'll figure out next year.
You'll camp because it's nicer outside.
Yes. I don't know if you've ever been to Arkansas, Lory, but fall in Arkansas is amazing.
Beautiful.
I want to go there sometime, and you guys have quite the schedule. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arla likes to keep me busy.
I'll be at East also.
Yay!
Mm-hmm.
I'll see you there.
Yeah.
Yay.
Cool.
I just sent Azure all the classes we want to teach, and I was a little tardy with that, but she and I chatted at Mountain West, and I just sent her all that for Expo East. So that'll be fun. And I wanted to give a quick shout out to Lady on Toyotas for coming and representing at both Pacific Northwest and Colorado. I love you girls. Thank you so much, Jamie, for showing up and helping us out. And I want to also thank Colorado 4x4 girls for coming and representing. And you guys are awesome too. If you're in the Colorado area, you should check out Colorado 4x4 girls. They go on group rides all the time. They do recovery training, all kinds of cool stuff. So if you're looking for a tribe, they're an awesome tribe. So are Lady on Toyotas. And I think in every state, Lady on Toyotas has a group,
ambassador,
local group, ambassadors. Yeah. So check those out. Oh, middle truck.
He'll be at East, but he lives over there. Cheat.
Yay. Yay.
That's awesome. A drive too, man.
It's a haul.
It's a drive. So, Lory to be a drive.
Are you going to drive or fly over there, Lory?
I'm flying into Pennsylvania to see a friend, one of my really good travel partners, and then driving over to Ohio to see my dad, who's living back in Ohio, where I'm from, and then driving back to Pennsylvania, and then driving down to the show, and gonna work it for a few days, and then teach a couple days. I don't know my schedule yet; it's not out, and yeah, I'll be there all week. So I've never been to the East one. This will be a new fun adventure.
You and me both. I've never been either. So
Me
I want to go to all of them. And this is I've been to all of the other ones at least once or many times. And then the East one, this will be my first one too. So it'll be cool.
oh, old man, old truck. He's still 8 hours from it.
I'll take 8 hours versus 18.
That's closer than we are.
Yeah.
Hey, he came all the way out to Expo West, though. He drove
He
all
sure
the way out
did.
there.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. From South
Awesome.
Carolina, right?
I
South
think he's
Carolina?
South Carolina. South
Am I right, old man, old
South-
truck? I think so, but he'll correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
I've been wrong once. One time.
Yes,
Yes,
you
I
said.
got it right. See, I told you I wasn't making wrong one time. What? The whole lot.
All right. So, Lory, we were having a little fun before the show, and you just mentioned that you're going to be visiting your dad. What's your dad's name?
Mr. Perfect.
Love it.
I love it.
Yes.
What's your last name?
My last name's Perfect. And a
It
lot
is.
of people
Really
ask
is.
me, is that your maiden name or your married name? I'm like, duh, I was born perfect. Who would want to give up this name? Come on.
No one ever.
I've had people ask me to marry them like at least 3 times. I'm like, no, and it's not about keeping my name. They're just the wrong person. But
Yeah, you just didn't like their names as much as yours. That's all.
right.
Yeah.
It's a fun
I don't
name to
blame you.
have. Like one of my first computer jobs, they're like, we had to bring you in to interview you. We saw your name on your resume. I'm like, okay, and I got that job at Xerox Computer Services. So, anyways,
That's
it's a
awesome.
fun name to have.
Of course you did.
Oh, I bet you and your dad have heard all the jokes.
Oh
All the
yeah,
jokes.
we're willing to hear more. It's not like it's gone to our head. I'm like, my mom was a teacher. My brother's wife is a teacher. Can you imagine writing the first day of school, Mrs. Perfect? They probably throw stuff at you. That's not your real name.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. I wonder if teachers get bullied about their last names. Probably.
Probably. Hey, Dylan, come here, baby.
Aw.
He's a big boy.
She's puppy sitting, so
he
the
sounds
dogs are
like
getting a little wild.
he no happy.
Oh goodness. I'm surprised Sadie isn't barking. Could she hear him?
Oh yeah, she's down here. She's looking at me. I can see her eyes glowing.
She's looking at you like, Mama, what's that?
Who's in this house with us?
Stranger danger.
You didn't ask me. No.
Nope.
June is underneath the desk over here, just chilling.
I got him
Aw.
his comfy blanket, so I don't know what he's barking at. He just random. Okay, I'm back.
He probably hears the howler monkeys.
If I went outside, but then there's cars and
Nah.
the neighbors are putting up boom fireworks and scaring the dogs, and that won't do good on the microphone. So
No, that's probably what he's barking at is the fireworks.
Hey, Amy. She is
No,
in
they're-
Hey, Amy.
They're booms like a rocket going off
Like a
somewhere
mortar
down
going
the street.
Oh, wow.
Crazy. I don't know why.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about what you and your dad used to do when you were young.
Well,
mentioned
I
in
was
your
born.
bio.
I was born and raised in Ohio for the first 15 years of my life, and I'm glad I was born a Midwestern girl. It's different than where I am now, which I'll get to. But we grew up riding mini bikes and dirt bikes. We always had motorcycles and went down to my uncle's farm in southern Indiana, which is now a ski slope place, perfect north slopes. But we grew up in that farm and run around dirt biking. And my dad had a Manx copy. So we had a yellow fiberglass body dune buggy like the old Manx. And we always
Nice.
Volkswagens. So great memories, So I'm an off-road girl, outdoor girl, tomboy, grew up a tomboy and playing in the dirt and all that stuff. And we moved to California when I was literally on my 15th birthday in a plane. and lived in the Mojave Desert. So we had Baja bugs. I had a 66 street bug and a 1964 orange Baja bug with the white fenders. And so my dad kept my brother and I in Volkswagens, which was cheap for the parents, right? Cheaper insurance back in the day. And we rode all over the desert. And one time I remember we were leaving our house going down to Disneyland because a relative was in town, and we went past the desert and we're like, what is that? And it was an off-road race. What? That's crazy. We got into off-road racing in 1979, 1980, and my brother's still doing that. My dad built engines, and I've pitted and been in pit crews and rode and all kinds of crazy off-road stuff in Arizona, Nevada, California, Baja. So it's been fun. I love off-roading, and I like to share it with people. And then so that's, I don't know, came from Ohio. I live in San Diego now, and I'm in Baja a lot, either in California or Baja, or today, Costa Rica. And, but kind of where I got started was I was naturally, when I want to go do something, I guess I got it from my mom. I'm a natural organizer. So I used to ski, so I'd plan mammoth ski trips. Who wants to go? Okay. And I'd round up a bunch of people, and we'd have a condo full and carpooling, and then hey, we want to go to see the races in Nevada or Arizona or California. Who wants to go check out the races? Okay. So I was always kind of naturally organizing people, getting people together to go do fun stuff. And then my boyfriend at the time and I went down, I think it was 1985, to one of the Baja 500 race. His brother and my brother were racing in class 9, I believe. And we pitted, and I'd always heard about Mexico and Baja, and you hear these things, I was kind of new to California, and I loved it, got hooked, and I've been going ever since. So been exploring and running around Baja and like, what's down that road, down the back road, and checking it out. Even with my girlfriends, my friend Pam and I were like, what's down that road? We found the best camping spots just going down the road and checking it out. So that's how I got started going to Baja. And it's easy because it's close right here to San Diego. I'm right by, a cross-border region where I know a lot of other people in the United States, it's kind of a big deal for them to first get to California and then cross the border. So, yeah. So that's a little bit about how all that came about.
Well, that sounds like the perfect way to grow up. Good, I did there.
It was fun. Yeah.
Perfect way. And that must have led perfectly into the job that you do now.
I see what's happening here.
I'll be here all night, folks.
Ting, ting. So my day job for years was I was in IT, in a male-dominated
same girl.
field. IT and then the training department and stuff like that. And so I did this on the side to keep me sane and get me out of my stressful work situation. It was just like an escape. I'd go to Baja, lead trips, and I've led lots of free trips too, with some groups online and stuff. I just love it. I love to share how to travel safely and everything in Mexico, and the do's and the don'ts, because you don't just want to wing it in Mexico. People are like, oh yeah, just wing it. I don't agree with that. Have a sort of a plan, but a flexibility plan. Back in 2002, I was online just dinking around, early days of the internet, whatever. And I saw this website called totalescape.com. And I noticed they had some trips on there, and I'm like, oh, interesting. And the founder of the company is Dana Williams. She's awesome. Check out totalescape.com sometime. And I noticed she had a trip down in Baja, but it was the same weekend as the Baja 500. And I thought, well, if she's doing like a nice, quiet camping trip, that's not the time to go. If you're into off-road and all the hoopla, it's great. But if you're not into that, it's really hectic and there's a lot of people. So I reached out to her and I said, I don't know if you know, but your trip on there is the same weekend as the Baja 500. Just want to let you know there's going to be tons of people in Ensenada and may or may not be the timing. She goes, oh, thanks, and moved her trip date. So we started emailing over a year and found out we were kind of kindred spirits and loved the outdoors and camping. And she was running, trips in California, and she's a California camping expert. And
Nice.
and then I started leading trips for her in Southern California and Baja, and then she moved to Northern, and she did Northern California. So I did that while I was working full time. But I retired from a local government agency in San Diego, March 2020. Unbeknownst to me, what craziness was coming with COVID, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. And so let me look at my notes. And so I put up a new website recently, and I always was Perfect Adventures, and I can do that anywhere in the world, but I like to lead trips in Baja. It's my specialty. It's my passion. I like to see the aha, like, wow, that was really cool. We climbed up this little crevice and saw some cool petroglyphs, and just the off-roading and the beautiful scenery that's down there. It's very unique. People don't even realize it snows in Baja, and there's big, huge mountains. Like, there's all kinds of terrain, from rocky, sand, silt, mountains, beaches, and like out west here, Colorado and San Diego or California and everything, we have a lot of public lands. Well, in Baja, all the land is owned by somebody.
Ah,
The
okay.
government. It's not all public. The beaches are somewhat public. You're still going to pay to camp on the beaches there, but it's a rancher's land. Maybe a fisherman owns it, whatever. So people are like, oh, just camp anywhere. Well, you might need to talk to the locals.
Might need to ask the landowner about that.
Yeah, just make sure, because people ask me that all the time. So basically that's what I've been doing. And now that I am officially retired from the day job, I can focus more on going to Baja, taking trips to Baja. I did 6 weeks in Baja last fall and led a trip, and then just stayed down to Baja Sur and did some scouting around and looking for new places. That's the fun part, is just scouting around, going down roads. Hey, this is a great place to camp. And we did 75 miles off-road from on one day from Mulegé to San Juanico. It was epic. And I still got drone footage I haven't even had time to edit. It takes time to do all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun. And don't be afraid, if anybody's listening to this, pretty much whatever kind of vehicle you have, you can bring into Mexico. You're just going to get Mexican insurance. But for a lot of the places I go, you just need high clearance. You don't necessarily need four-wheel drive. When I started leading trips, I had a 4Runner, and then I had a Tacoma. Neither one of them were four-wheel drive. And I used to carry this big, thick board that ironically is about the same size as a Max Trax. I didn't even know what Max Trax wasn't even invented. And
it wasn't even a thing.
In the sand, you use that board to get out. So I got stuck twice in San Felipe. But you don't necessarily need four-wheel drive, but it's helpful. And a lot of people have Subarus. I have a Subaru Crosstrek. It's got 8.7 inches of ground clearance. It's okay on some places, but other places it's the high clearance you need in Baja, not necessarily four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Maybe that's TMI.
I used to have a little Crosstrek, and I loved that thing.
They're great.
Did you?
It's awesome.
Subarus are great.
I had 3 kids in car seats at the time, and that wasn't working. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's the only reason I got rid of that vehicle, because I loved that vehicle, and it did so great in the snow.
And great gas mileage.
So we got a question here. Joanne and Teddy Cook say, so in Mexico you need Mexican insurance. So touch on that a bit.
Okay. So whether you're in Baja, Mexico, which is a big peninsula, or you're in mainland Mexico, the law is you have to have Mexican insurance. Okay. And don't believe what your U.S. company tells you. You need to get Mexican insurance that's underwritten by a Mexican insurance company. And there's 2 companies that are American companies that sell proper Mexican insurance. The one I partner with is BajaBound.com. There's
Okay.
another one, Discover Baja Travel, that's in San Diego. Either one of those companies. I've actually met their underwriters that are in TJ. I met them at the Baja Bound Christmas party. Great people. So for legally in Mexico, you need to have liability insurance. Don't go into Mexico without Mexican liability insurance. Why? If you get in
Why?
an accident or hurt somebody or get in a car accident and you don't have one, your FMM, which is your immigration paperwork, and two, Mexican insurance, you can go to jail. And I say that to scare you because I don't see
I'm
that
scared.
American. It's so easy to do the right thing and follow two rules that you need before you go to Mexico. So yes, you need Mexican insurance. To me, I buy it by the year because I'm back and forth all the time. But you can
Mhm.
buy it in 6-month increments, 1 year, or 24 hours. So let's say you're going down there for
Oh,
a weekend or a week. You just buy it in 24-hour increments. And you can't buy it 24 hours to go in. I'm camping somewhere and then I'll buy it for the day I come out. No, you need to buy it for the entire length of your stay.
yeah.
And it's really easy to do online on Baja Bound. Print it out, keep a copy of your policy in your car, and then I keep the front sheet that has the phone numbers to call with me on my person in case it's never happened. I've never had my car vandalized or stolen or anything. I'm usually with my car all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If very important, if you get into a car accident while in Mexico, you need to call the number on your policy and report that you got into an accident instead of coming back north across the border. Report it while you're in Mexico. So,
Okay.
any other questions about insurance? Very important. And
No.
and I get liability and the full package, and I put extra insurance. I buy extra insurance for people in the vehicle in case of accident because I figure if there's an accident, it's probably going to be pretty bad. But you can
So
do what.
how is it priced compared to US insurance? Is it more reasonable or is it more pricey?
For my old school 2002 Gen 3 4Runner, a year policy, and I add extra on the medical, it's maybe 300 a year. But like if you buy it in 20, it just depends on your car and your coverage. It could be anywhere from 10 or 15 bucks a day to 20 or 30 bucks a day. It just depends on the options that you choose. So
Mhm.
you can get a free quote and play with the numbers and play with the underwriting companies. There's usually 3 of them on Baja Bound, but yeah, and then you just have peace of mind. You're like, I'm insured. It's cool. And you're going to be camping with your car all the time. And if you're in a big city, just be careful, where you park it, or have the kids pay the kids some pesos to watch your car. When I first went down there, I thought they were going to wash my car. No, they were going to watch my car.
All right.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, in addition to the insurance, I know there was 2 other things I'd like you to talk about. One being the tip, what a tip is.
Okay, a TIP, a temporary import permit. You do not need that anywhere on the Baja Peninsula. And
Okay.
if you look at the map, you don't need it over to Rocky Point, Puerto Penasco. But there's a certain point when you cross down into the state of Sonora, more in mainland Mexico, you need a TIP. And you can do part of it online. I've got some FAQs on my website, or Baja Bound has a very good know before you know page. And
Okay.
I have not done a TIP yet, but I will for my January trip. Ask me about my January trip later. That's a whole nother story. So,
Okay.
yeah, prepping for that right now. So, you get a TIP on your RV, your truck, your trailer, whatever vehicle, if you're going into mainland. Now, a lot of people ask me, hey, I just want to do the Baja Peninsula for a couple weeks or months or whatever. And I want to go down to La Paz and take the ferry over to the mainland. There's only one ferry running right now. It goes from La Paz to Mazatlan. And I just did that March 2022. I went from Mazatlan to La Paz in a Jeep. And I thought it was pricey. But even if you forget to get your TIP at the border, you can get it at the ferry station,
Okay.
office. So that's kind of a newer thing in the last few years. So don't freak out, don't stress about it. And they're going to weigh your vehicle. It's done by weight. Sorry, guys. Leave all the heavy stuff at home. And then they're going to,
I don't need that. I don't need this.
Yeah. So anyways, you're going to pay for the TIP and a deposit. I think you can pay in cash or credit card, save all your receipts. Very important. If you're driving through mainland Mexico to Guatemala or Belize, you have to close out your TIP, right? So you enter, get your TIP in mainland Mexico. When you exit, get all your stamps, turn it back in. When you come back north into Mexico, you got to do your TIP thing over again. And then when you close out your TIP on your vehicle, you get your deposit back. It could be $400 or $500.
Yeah.
And you don't want to leave that hanging because that'll give you issues later if you come back. So it's not a big deal process at all.
Yeah, I heard that it can be a big process or a big deal if you, like, I know Eric and Brittany Highland, when they flew in for Expo West, the tip was still running on their Gladiator. So when they got back, they still had more time in the country, but their vehicle didn't. So they had to go through this whole process to get that taken care of. So,
and
yeah.
Usually the TIP matches your immigration papers. So in Mexico, you can get they call it a tourist visa. It's not really a visa. It's like a permit to be a tourist. Okay. And I really like to stress this. A lot of people complain about people coming north and not having their papers. When we go to any country in the world, you have to have you go through immigrations and you go through customs in any country in the world. So there's a little thing, it's called an FMM. You can look it up on my website or Baja Bound, wherever. And it's simply, you just walk into immigration, get it, and it is a legal piece of paper. It's about this big. I should have had mine with me to show you. And it says you're legal to be a tourist in the country. You're covered. And you can get one for free for 7 days if you're just down for the weekend.
Nice.
Those of you that are flying, the airline takes care of that. You remember filling those out in the plane. But when you're driving, it's your responsibility to get out of the car, walk into the immigration office and get it. They're not going to come out and ask you if you have it. It's our responsibility. Keep it with you. Mexico recognizes passports and the U.S. passport card. Mexico immigration does not recognize Century or Global Entry. That's a U.S. thing. So to go into Mexico, you either need a passport from whatever country you're from or a U.S. passport card, get your FMM, and you're set. And it's the fee for 6 months is like $30, $35. It fluctuates. So another tip I give people is even if you're gone for a month or 3 weeks, get the full 6 months. You're paying for it. Just tell them you want the full 180 days. It's none of their business that you're only gone for 2 weeks because you might decide to stay longer and you're having fun, or maybe you want to take the ferry over and stuff. So get the full 180 days. They write it on there. It's a piece of cake. And yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Now, before we get into the passport and the passport card, because I do want to revisit that, let's go to Joanne and Teddy's question they had up there, Arla.
So they're curious on the medical. Does it help you get out of there in case there is a medical emergency? So I guess
medical
insurance.
I think when you were talking about insurance.
Oh, that's just car insurance.
Yeah. Medical.
So I do teach classes at the expo about some of this stuff. So I recommend to all travelers going into other countries outside the U.S. Okay, your U.S. medical insurance does not cover you, any of us. There's only one federal policy that I know of. If you check, most of our insurance policies do not cover us outside the United States. So you're not covered. Maybe an emergency, usually not though. So it's best to buy travel trip health insurance. So I have a couple companies that I like. I'm in Costa Rica. I bought it because last year I was here and I did have a little bit of a medical thing happen. So you can do that. There's also those companies like SkyMed. I don't know. There's a couple companies out there that you could buy, like they'll fly you out or whatever. And I don't remember the names of those right now. But yeah, car insurance completely separate from medical health insurance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I have heard is that medical in Mexico is actually a lot of people pay out of pocket for it because it's not
Yeah.
super expensive.
Right.
So
So
and
yeah, my dentist is in Tecate, Mexico. Adami dentist, they're great. They've been there 30 years. In the Tijuana area, Ensenada, there's lots of doctors. So in the bigger towns that you're in, there's lots of good doctors, and it's inexpensive. You can go in and get minor stuff done and stuff like that. So anywhere in Mexico, actually. So that's why you hear of medical tourism. It's huge in Baja. Everybody I know in San Diego goes down to Tijuana, Tecate, or Ensenada. Everybody takes their pets. They have great vets. The vets for your pets are a lot cheaper. If you want to have a major surgery on your animal, go down to, yeah, all my friends take their dogs. Yeah. Yeah. So just do your research, or I know a few places I can recommend and stuff. So, but yeah, it's cheaper, much cheaper than the US. That's true.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's roll into the passport versus a passport card. Let's talk
Yes.
about that.
Okay.
Talked about that a little bit before the show, but
So obviously, people around the world, when you want to travel, you have a passport from your own country. In the U.S., yes, we must have a U.S. passport to travel to all countries outside the U.S., I think. We were talking earlier about passports and passport renewals. And so when I hear people talk about that, and I used to talk to people at my day job a lot, they'd come and talk to me all the time. What do you know about this? I always highly recommend, if you're going to get a new passport, Arla, or renew your passport, Misty, both you girls, I'm going to help you work on this. Go ahead and do, and people who are listening, you don't have to go to a place, and you can do all this yourself, except for your first time. You have to go show your face the first time. But you don't need to pay any agency to do this, okay? You can go to the State Department's website, download or fill out the PDF online, and then print it. And check the box to get a passport card. There are two different documents. Your passport has a certain number on it, and your passport card has a certain number on it. Passport, you can fly anywhere in the world on a plane. That's what it's for. The passport card has multiple uses. Mexican immigration recognizes it to go south into Mexico. It's great. You don't have to bring your passport. Only if you're flying into Mexico do you need to bring a passport. If you're just traveling by land, you could do passport card if you want. And you're going to get your immigration papers there in Baja with that. The other cool thing in the States is, you know how they've been pressuring everybody to get these state IDs on your driver's license or whatever it is.
real ID. Mm-hmm.
Real ID, thank you. Well, I'm not doing that in California because I talked to an investigator that used to work at DMV and multiple databases and security issues. Sorry, true. So in California, you only need that if you want to buy a gun or have a real ID. Well, I don't need that. So you can use a passport card when you're flying domestically in the US to show citizenship. It has your picture on it, your birth date. It doesn't have your address or anything, and it shows citizenship because it's a passport card. And what's great about passports or passport cards, you can get TSA pre-check.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and I highly recommend people getting a passport card for everyone in your vehicle, kids and everybody, because if you go into Baja and you're driving, when you come back north across the border, you can go in a special lane called the ready lane. And if everybody has a passport card, you flip your card to the screen on the card reader as you get up to the border. Your information comes up instantly on the agent's screen. And it's like a 20-second, 30-second, get through the border. And it's a lot quicker to go in the ready lane than the standard lanes. It has nothing to do with Century or Global Entry. That's a whole nother thing. So you can also, here in San Diego, we walk across and go to dinner, go shopping. We go to Tijuana and do stuff all the time. And then we walk across. Well, in the summer, it can be a 3-hour wait to walk north. We are the busiest border crossing in the world, San Diego and Tijuana. Seriously. So
I bet.
I just bypass all those people and go right to the front. And I either cross in the Century lane because I have a Century Global Entry card, or I go on the ready lane. So you can use a passport card to walk across the border in either direction. And you can use it in your vehicle to cross the US-Mexico border in either direction. You can fly on a plane domestically in the US and show citizenship. And I also use it like when you're in a store using a credit card. Can I see your ID, ma'am? I show them a passport card.
Sure.
Because I'm a big privacy advocate, and that's another path. But you legally do not need to show your driver's license unless you are driving and a cop says, I want to see your driver's license. That's all the driver's license is for, is driving. That's it. And don't let anybody ever scan your driver's license and get your data. Like in a bar, don't let them do that. Okay? Show them your passport card. They can scan it all day long. They're not going to get any data off of it. It's an RFID chip thing. So anyways,
I mean,
talk about that all day. So
oh yeah.
That's good info.
Now it does have your date of birth on there, correct? So if somebody who is 21 wanted to show it for proof for an alcohol purchase or whatever, they can.
Yes, correct. It has your birth date, your photo, your name, but not your address. And I never put my home address on any of those things. I have a street address PO box just for all of us that need more privacy.
Yep. I like it.
Very
much so. That's a whole other conversation we'll have another time. But
I used to teach privacy classes, so I love it.
I'm in cybersecurity, so yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, we gotta talk.
Yeah. So what did Gen Xer say here?
This is what had no idea about all these passport card hacks. Awesome, thank you.
Yeah,
you're welcome. I don't want to scare anybody, freak anybody out, but the idea is if you're going to renew your passport or get one your first time, go ahead and check that box. It's only like $30 or $40 more, and both documents are they both are worth or not worth. They last 10 years. Okay. So I was one of the first people to get the passport card. Mine has a different expiration date than my passport. So always and I just renewed my passport early because I need it next spring. And it took 3 months to renew my passport. That's the standard time, but now it's taking longer. So if you think you have an international trip coming up, just get it in there now.
Yeah, we'll be getting mine renewed and the kids their first passports. And then when my husband gets back from India at the end of October, beginning of November, we'll have to renew his because it will be within the 6 months from expiration by that point. So there'll be a lot of passport things happening.
Yep. And for those of you, that may already have a passport, here's a little tip. Let's say you already have a passport and you're hearing this or learning about, I want to get a passport card. There's a little trick. I don't know why the State Department does this. You have to time it when you don't need your passport. You fill out the application for a new passport card, and you have to send that and your check, money order, and your passport into the State Department. And you're like, what? Yeah. And they're going to look at your passport and mail it back pretty quick, actually. And then they're going to take a couple months to process your application for the passport card. Don't panic. Just do it during a time you don't need your passport. So that's why I tell people if you're renewing or getting a new one, just do it then. It's so much easier. Just get them at the same time. Yeah.
That's a good tip. Pro tip. That is the perfect tip.
Pro tip. Ladies. So ask me more. What else you want to ask me? I can
let's see. What do you got, Arla? You got
Getting
any?
to know you, getting to
videos?
know all about you.
How about some of my places in Baja? Favorite places in Baja?
Ooh, will you tell us?
Yes.
All right.
I'll share some
Everybody,
of them.
quote, cover your ears.
Cervezas.
Okay. Get a pen and
Cervezas.
pencil. I got my notes here. One of my favorite places is Bahia Concepcion, Bay of Conception, and it's down in Baja Sur. There's 2 states in Mexico. Baja, which is the north state. It's not Norte. It's just Baja is in the north, and Baja Sur is the southern state.
Okay.
And down in Baja Sur is this place on the Gulf. It's the Gulf of California. People also call it the Sea of Cortez, but Cortez was a bad guy, so I try not to use that name. It's Gulf of California, and
Sea
Bahia
of the Big Jerk.
Concepcion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
he
Sea
was
of
a
the
jerk.
Big Jerk.
He's a big jerk, and you can camp all around there, and some places will have a little small fee, and there's some pit toilets and stuff like that, but beautiful, great in the morning. It's glassy for kayaking and fishing and stand-up boards, and oh my gosh, doggies going in the, it's lovely.
Let's go. I'm ready.
I'm going down in October. Another place, if you like mountains, Baja, Mexico, actually all of Mexico has some really good national parks. People don't know this. I didn't even know this for a long time. I'm like, what do you mean national parks? I didn't know Baja had it. Yeah, Baja has some wonderful national parks, even in the northern part. And you can get there
Very
pretty
nice.
easily. Laguna Hansen. My favorite is San Pedro Martir. San Pedro Martir is about a 5-hour drive south of the U.S.-Mexico border. And I take people up to 9,000 feet. We camp at about 8,200 feet, and there's hikes, and you can go on an observatory tour. It's awesome. And you can see El Diablo Mountain across the way. It's the tallest mountain. It's 10,000 feet. Yeah, Baja has, mountains, and it can snow up there. So don't go in the winter unless you like snow. Yeah.
Don't go in the winter unless you like snow. I like snow.
Yeah. I don't like to camp in snow. I like to play in the snow, but not camp in the snow. Yeah.
I like to camp in the snow as long as I can keep myself warm. I got to layer up and because camping in the snow is beautiful, but not in a blizzard. Like just
Not in a
when there's
blizzard.
snow on the ground.
Yeah.
And
clarify.
Camping's great anywhere as long as you have the right gear, right?
Yes.
Right.
100%.
Yeah. Another place, another town that I like is La Paz and Los Barriles down south. Love those towns. There's a couple good campgrounds there that I like because, you can do your laundry and all that kind of stuff. But those are 2 other great places. But Baja overall has lots of off-roading. I take people to the Baja 500 race, and after the race, then we go on the race course, and then they can say, oh, we were on the Baja 500 or Baja 1000 race course. And they'll see parts of it isn't that rough, and parts of it, we don't go on the super rough stuff. We don't need to have our daily drivers get stuck.
Yeah.
But, how awesome is it to be off-roading, in the desert, and all of a sudden you come around and there's the beautiful Pacific Ocean. You're like, this is a race course? Yeah, cool. And then you go down the coast and go down and have a cold drink somewhere. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of, if you're into photography, yeah, come to Mexico, come to Baja. I'm a photographer and a drone pilot. If you are a drone pilot, just know, check the drone laws. No foreigner is allowed to fly drones in Mexico unless you're a Mexican citizen. Now, have I done it? Yes, in remote areas where there's nobody. I'm not going to do it in a town or something because they might want to confiscate your drone or, but most people won't bother you. Just be mindful of that. But if you have a Mexican citizen drone pilot with you, you are allowed to fly drones. So
okay,
because everyone asked me about the drone stuff. So
yeah,
right on.
Yeah. What else? Any other questions?
Let's see. I did have one, but let me look here.
What's your favorite place to eat down in Baja?
Oh,
There's so many. The fish tacos are fabulous. I always talk about going on a fish taco run. If you're in Loretto, El Rey, so it's EL space REY, El Rey Taco, right around the corner from the Mission.
Mhm.
That one's good. There's so many good restaurants.
That's what I've heard. So I was like, I guess you won't be able to pick one.
Yeah, and I love Mexican food, so it's different than Costa Rican food down here, that's for sure. But yeah,
Same.
and what's great is sometimes if you're camping along the beaches, along the playas and stuff, especially Bahia Concepcion, the vendors will come up. Excuse me. The vendors will come up in their little cars or little Corollas. And in the back, they have coolers full of fresh fish and shrimp, and you can buy it from them and make fish tacos right on the beach. They'll come by with souvenirs and rugs. And there's the lady that comes from Mulegé. I think it's Juanita. She's got bread, from her bakery that she makes, and tamales. And so you could just sit there on the beach and they'll come around. What do you want? There's even a guy that'll bring you water. The pizza guy comes on Wednesdays. And on Wednesdays, the farmer dude shows up and he literally writes down your fresh food, fresh veggies and fruit that you want. And then he delivers it to you on the beach on Friday.
Yes.
You don't have to go anywhere.
Do it. Yes.
You had me at pizza guy.
Yeah, you had me at Wednesday.
And what's great about that is
Wednesday.
Yeah, and you're keeping the locals employed. They're doing a service.
Yeah, that's really cool.
There's a guy that brings juice, fresh squeezed orange juice. It's like, then you can have your vodka and orange juice on the beach or whatever you want, So it's really cool. And some places just know the vendors are coming up because they're trying to make a living and feed their kids and stuff too. So they're not annoying to me. Now down in Cabo, you're sitting on the beach. That's kind of annoying, but I don't know. When I'm in Baja, most other places in Baja, it's fun to talk to them, and they're practicing their English, and you're practicing your Spanish, and you become friends. And
it's probably fairly cheap, right? I mean, the food.
Everything everywhere has gone up after COVID, but reasonable. Very reasonable.
Yeah.
They've been working. They went out and caught the fish and caught the shrimp, and it's going to be cheaper there than going to a restaurant or somewhere usually, or even to the fish markets.
It's like the best kind of DoorDash ever.
It's like DoorDash.
Here's your fresh food.
Wow. The original.
I love it. The OG DoorDash, Mexico.
Yeah.
Baja. That's right.
Yep.
Delivered right to your rig. I love it.
That's right.
Yeah. I remembered what I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Wanted to make sure we spoke about this. What do you have coming up in 2024?
Ooh.
Okay. And I have a couple other things to talk about. So I'm gearing up to go from California to Panama and back.
Nice.
Yes. And I met some other overlanders through, the Overland Expo, and there's three other rigs I can think that are going around the same time in January. And so we're hoping to kind of hook up together, maybe do the border crossings together in numbers, camp here and there, whatever. And my travel partner, we're going to try to do it in 3 months. I've got my schedule cleared, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, try to hit all those countries. So that's 8 border crossings going south and 8 coming back.
Oh, wow.
Actually, we might see police coming back, so we'll see. So I've been doing a lot of research. I have a document on each country, and I'm not really worried about anything but the border crossing. So anybody that goes to Overland Expo, there's a guy named Pete Sweetser that teaches borders and checkpoints and bribes, and he's go to his class because I've learned so much from him. I teach Baja borders and checkpoints. Okay, I'm the queen of that, but he's like worldwide dude, right? And he's given so many good tips, and you need to show up calm, relaxed, well-fed. You're not in a hurry. You show up in the morning, but you gotta know exactly what the fees are. It's $2 for this and $5 for that, and don't pay bribes. We never pay bribes. Don't pay bribes in Baja. Don't pay bribes. There's no reason to pay bribes. It just makes it worse for the person behind you. So anyway,
See, that's different advice than what I've received before. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, there's all
Yeah.
kinds of situations, but typically you shouldn't have to do that. And you know, we don't condone that in Baja because it just perpetuates that.
Right.
And people think, you know, there's a whole jokes. Oh, just give them $20. Well, you're making it worse for the person behind you because then the guy's going to expect it. No, and yeah, we do a whole show on bribes and checkpoints and all that stuff. So no,
I like it.
yeah. So that's my big trip. And for Perfect Adventures, I want to lead some more women trips. I want to get more overlander chicas. It is kind of a male-dominated thing, but there's more and more women. And if you're a woman listening to this and you've never been to any expo, any overland or outdoor adventure expo, go, because it's not all guys. It's a lot of women and single women, or they might be there with their partners or whatever. And it's like amazing. And you guys, I love what you guys are doing. When I went to your networking event at Redmond Overland Expo, that was great. I got to meet all these ladies and the Toyota Overlander, the
lady on Toyotas.
Yeah, it was great. You know, I got to put a name with a face. So you get to work with others. Yeah, your shirt. I mean, it's great. I was just on their site today. So, and I hope I can take a minute to say this. I'm looking for some more photographers, male or female, but if you happen to be a lady, you know, a woman with a digital SLR and you know what you're doing. I'm a photographer, but I'm leading the trips and on the radio and kind of busy. And, you know, I got some upcoming trips. If you want to hit me up, I'm looking for, I might even give you a free trip or whatever will work out, but I need another photographer to come along and photograph. I need more photographs for social media and stuff like that. So if anybody's interested, anytime in the future, just talk to me and we'll work something out like that. So
I know a girl.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'll let her know.
Cool.
Yes.
So what else? If they're a drone pilot, that's a plus too, but they don't have to be.
Okay.
But you know, camera, digital SLR, maybe video, drone pilot, whatever. And if they can ride with me, or if they have a high clearance truck or SUV, that's okay too. So, yeah. Awesome. So what other Baja questions? Come on, there's got to be some out there.
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
How badly was Baja affected by the last hurricane that just went through there?
Pretty bad. Yeah, I was monitoring it, and you know, some people are like, "Oh, people are just panicking." Well, in San Diego, where I live now, I'm down in Costa Rica while this last hurricane was going on. But and I wasn't worried about California. They have an infrastructure. Okay. Baja doesn't. And Hurricane K in 2022 hit right at Punta Eugenia and just devastated the middle of Baja. They still haven't recovered. I can tell you stories from that. It blew out the two palapas where I was going to stay last October. So this hurricane, it didn't hit as a Category 4, but it was still spinning around and it still hit Baja and went straight up Ensenada. And so there's a lot of flooding. If you're on Facebook Talk Baja group, they have a road conditions kind of sidebar thing, and where they allow people that are actually on the ground, not rumors, but people that are actually on the ground to post photographs. And I've seen, like, right before Santa Rosalita, the road's out on Highway 5, and I'm going down that way in October, but they'll figure it out. So, you know, we needed people to kind of stay off the roads and let the emergency crews get in there. A lot of flooding and damage and stuff. And, you know, but it's crazy that it came up all the way to, you know, to Death Valley and Palm Springs. Had storms and stuff like that. But yeah, I have friends all over Baja. So I've been contacting them, and they're like, okay, and their houses are okay, most of them. But it's like getting a year's worth of rain in the desert in a few hours, and
flash flooding, and
it doesn't work.
It doesn't absorb.
Here and other places, and you know, the earth can handle it, but it just runs off. So Yeah, it did some road damage, a lot of road damage, and it's going to be like that every year now. So around this time, August, September,
Yep.
yeah,
My parents are in Florida near the Gulf Coast,
yeah.
and so they just dealt with that a whole situation last night, as a matter of
Wow,
fact. So
they're doing
yeah,
okay.
they're doing good. They have power, but they are just, I mean, not even an hour south of where Perry is and Cedar Key and all of that, where the eye
Wow,
came through. So there's a
wow.
lot of coastal flooding, a lot of flooding right now.
Citrus
So
County.
yeah, Citrus County is where my parents live, and
I saw flooding
yeah,
there.
These storms are getting more frequent and very strong. Because
very strong.
we always used to hear some little hurricane stuff down in Baja or Mexico, but it's just getting more intense every year. And I got to see it really firsthand October 2022. I mean, even the road to Bay of LA, it was still, the hurricane happened in September. We went in October. It's washed out again.
Mhm.
So it's just, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
why that's a big deal is certain places in Baja, like Bay of LA, they can't get the fuel trucks in. So then there's no fuel. Like just a couple of days ago, there was no fuel in Bay of LA. That
Wow.
means they can't get food, and so it is important to have that infrastructure of the road system because there's not very many roads in Baja. A lot of dirt roads, but not too many highways.
Yeah. That's it's
Yeah,
crazy.
Crazy.
These
good
storms
question.
are super powerful now. I mean, I don't know. It's just
Scary.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't even like seeing the pictures.
Yeah,
I
So
would.
yeah.
I
And
think
so there are resources. Like I don't travel in Baja like right now, like September 1. It's super hot, not on the Pacific side, but and so there's certain times of the year that I'm leading and running trips and that I like to go down to Baja. Like
mhm.
mid-October to December is perfect weather. It's less wind. A lot of snowbirds go down and live in Baja or in Mexico from, say, Thanksgiving all the way to March. But San Felipe can actually be pretty cold in January. One time I was there and it was down to like 35 degrees. It's like, what? Uh,
mm,
yeah. So
So
it just,
is it hard to find camping in the winter then? Or is it still
yeah,
okay?
still okay. Yeah. And if
Nice.
you're unsure, just go to designated camping places. Don't, some people won't agree with me on this, but from what I know and talking to locals, from Tijuana all the way to El Rosario, which is 6 hours south of the border,
mhm.
I wouldn't camp, especially me, a woman by myself. Do not camp by yourself on the Pacific side. That's where all the drug running and all this stuff's going on. Now, if you're with a group and you got several rigs and there's certain places you want to go and certain places you don't. If you have a
Yeah.
question, contact me. I'll give you some great places. I'll give you one right now. 5
Okay.
hours south of the border, there's a surf hostel. My buddy Richard owns it. It's called Cuatro Casas, which means four houses. Cuatro Casas. It's near a little village called San Telmo. You can look them up. It's a hostel. You can stay in the hostel. They have private rooms, dorm rooms, but you can camp out front on this
Nice.
property. You're going to be totally safe. You can surf. There's a nice south swell there. You can off road in the area. That is a perfect place for beginning overlanders. I take people there all the time. They love it because you got a baños, you got a bathroom, and you can
Love it.
camp
Love it.
perfect. And it's up on a
Baños
cliff.
and cerveza.
Yeah, great. So that's a great place. And there's hostels in Mexico, and I know a lot of people have a negative, sometimes connotation in the U.S., but hostels are great outside of the U.S.
They
Okay,
are.
you can get private rooms. I've stayed in hostels in Costa Rica, Mexico, and New Zealand, and they're great, and they're cheap and cheerful, and but this one's great, Cuatro Casas, because you can camp out front and still have access to a bathroom. And tell Richard I sent you, so he knows me. So I'm gonna take
Richard.
all you ladies there. Yeah, he's
Perfect.
an American. He's been down there over 30 years, and he owns a place.
Protection. Do you have to be careful what you take with you? Laws or other issues? That's Gen Xers, Overland.
Okay, I'm going to take that a couple different protection, like guns and weapons. Okay, we all know, hopefully, you can't take any ammunition, any guns,
Nope.
and
Nada.
big knives into Mexico. Don't do it. You don't need it. Don't do it. If you're going to take a fillet knife for fishing, sure. Hide it really well. Protection. What was the other thing? Oh, a couple things you can't bring. A lot of overlanders have all this stuff on the outside of their vehicles, right? Propane and the gas tanks and all that.
Yeah.
Don't have gas in your extra gas tanks hanging on the outside of your rig. In fact, empty that.
Yep.
Empty that gas tank and put it inside your car. You probably won't use it, but if you are in a remote area of Baja or Mexico, then go to the gas station and get it filled, okay? But you can't cross the U.S.-Mexico border. Even all of us that race off-road, you can't have big 50-gallon drums of trick racing fuel. There's a whole thing about fuel. If they see that, they're going to be like, pull you over to secondary. Yeah, no. I have never been hassled about propane, but I have propane in the vehicle. So maybe just don't have your propane tank hanging on the outside of the vehicle. Put it in the car. I've never had a problem bringing it in. Other people have, and even if there was a problem, there's tons of propane places to get your propane filled. But no, I bring full propane. No weapons, no guns. There's probably other things I'm forgetting. You can bring your dog. They never really ask you for paperwork. They might ask you for paperwork going north. Bring all your vet papers and stuff. But I'll tell you, Customs and Border Protection, that's separate from Border Patrol. But Customs Border Protection going north, they've got so many other issues right now. They don't really hassle you about your dogs, but just have your paperwork with you. I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
They've got enough to do right now.
They got lots to do. Yes, they're very busy.
Good advice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Stuff protection.
So what would you recommend for safety then? Obviously, you can't bring a firearm or knives or things like that in a foreign country. I think pretty much every country except for the United States. So what would you do to protect yourself? What do you recommend?
I've never had an issue. I think if you got to get that close to somebody and have a fight, or I don't have anything physical, I've never encountered that. So I don't even worry about that. What I would bring is I have a Garmin InReach Mini 2. It's a satellite communicator, or Zoleo, or one of those. Have one of those, and if you're in a place that something's going down, some major stuff, or it's never happened to me, maybe there's a fight or near a gunshot or something's going on, you can hit that button and the cavalry will come.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't have any weapons, or I don't have a need to have any of that. I don't ever feel unsafe. I feel safer in most places in Baja than I do in San Diego. True story. They're stealing cars in my neighborhood. I can't even park my 4Runner where I live. I have to park it somewhere else.
Oh.
So
That's craziness.
it's safer in Baja with me than it is where I live. Yeah. So, but anyways, I don't ever feel threatened. Or you'll find that the Mexican folks that live there are the kindest, people. And like if I'm driving down a dirt road and I see a farmer, and by the way, if you're driving down a dirt road, don't go 60 miles an hour past somebody's house. Slow down. You don't want to dust them out.
Yeah.
And I just wave and hola, and everybody's friendly, because guess what? I can go down that road and break down, and they probably saw me and a couple girls in the car, or even if it's me and a guy, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
If they're coming back home to their farm or their ranch, and I was friendly on the way in, and they're coming back out or whatever, they might stop and help me change my tire or something.
True.
My friend Pam and I were down in, I think it was Punta China area, anyways, south of Ensenada. And we stopped, I forget whose rig we were in. It doesn't matter. And we were just airing up our tires because we'd been off road. Just two girls. We kind of look the same, brown hair, whatever. And a local cop in a truck stopped to ask if we were okay and if we needed any help. I'm like, no, we're good. We got this. He's like, okay. I just want to make sure you're okay. I've never been threatened and none of that. And it's because we are not involved with any criminal activity. We're not pissing off the drug cartel. Yes, they're there, but drug cartel are not typically not targeting tourists or Americans. They don't want that press.
Yeah.
Doing their thing. And in mainland Mexico, I talked to a guy that's an overlander buddy, motorcycle guy, and the cartel will stop you at some places in Mexico because there's something going on up ahead, whatever. And then they
don't want you in the middle of that.
They don't. They protect you. They don't want to be in the press. Trust me. So I just saw a question or something pop up.
No, it was just Gen Extra saying, good to know that safety hasn't been an issue. Awesome. Sounds like a great thing.
Yeah. And, there's places to avoid. I know where to go and to where not to go. We do not drive at night anywhere in Mexico, anywhere in Latin America. Do not drive at night. Like Brittany and Eric Highlander, they always say they try to get to camp by 3:00. Yep. If the vibe is good, great. If not, then they can change. Well, just remember when you're driving in Baja and it's February, dark is at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Oh,
yeah.
So you have to plan. That's why I say don't wing it. Just know, hey, if we're going all the way to Mulegé is 750 miles south of the border. So you got to plan. You got to plan
where to
your
stop
day a little bit and make it to camp early. Maybe the place is closed. Did you check ahead? Did you, So I always have, especially when I'm leading trips and even when I'm not, I know where I'm going and I got to back up to the backup. And it happened last year on a trip. We went to Gonzaga Bay and we got a bad vibe at this one place. And I had two other places in my mind and we went to the other place. It was great. So
perfect.
If you're doing research and going on your own, just have some places picked out and get there early. Do not drive at night in Baja. And it's not about crazy people on the street. It's about the animals, the potholes, and the road conditions. And there's no cell service between big towns. There's no 911. Okay. So if a cow comes up and you hit it, you're done. It's just, don't drive 70 miles an hour in Baja. It's because of the animals, cows, goats mostly.
Another pro tip. Yes.
Indeed.
Love it. Okay, cool. Lory. So shameless plug time. Tell us all your social media, where everybody can find you, websites, all that fun stuff.
Yes.
Okay, my website is perfectadventures with an S.com, perfectadventures.com. On Instagram, that name was already taken, so I'm Perfect Adventures Baja. And on Facebook, Perfect Adventures Baja, I think it is too. I need to do better at my social media, but I'm out having fun and doing stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to post stuff. So I got to get better at that. Why I need another photographer to help me out too.
I was gonna say, don't waste your time doing social media. Go have fun.
Yeah, and for those of you out there watching this, please come to any overlanding expo that's out there in the U.S. It's a great place to meet other people, meet other women, and talk to folks like the three of us here about questions and on the road and overlanding. If you got Baja questions or Mexico, hit me up. Come to any of my classes at East. I'll be there. Just it's a very welcoming community, and I welcome all you newbie overlanders. Just get out there and have fun, man. Go for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'll see you at Expo East.
Yes.
And we'll have fun and we'll communicate and we'll network and we'll do all the fun things there together. So I'm excited.
Yay. And get your passports. Yay.
And get my passport and passport card. Yay. Right now. Yes.
Thank you.
Check the
Thank you
box.
for this
Get your passport
opportunity.
card, everybody.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Yes, do.
All right. Thank you so much for being on the show tonight, Lory. We've really enjoyed chatting with you. And thank you, everyone, for watching. Next week, we have another great guest, I believe. Arla?
We do, but I've already closed the
Secret.
calendar. You're killing me,
It's all
Smalls.
right. We can keep that a secret. It'll be
We
another
don't
great
tell us
guest.
early anyway. What are you trying to do?
Just a little teaser.
Tricking me? Of course we have a
Yeah.
guest next Wednesday. Come on, man.
But not the Wednesday after that, though.
No.
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 So I'll be driving to Idaho.
That's a long drive.
We're gonna make it fun though. Tara McGovern's we're gonna meet up with her in Colorado, do a little camping, have a little fun. She's got a trailer right now from Expedition Trailers that we're gonna have at the show. We're gonna be serving cocktails and charcuterie boards out of the trailer. So it'll be a really good time at Teton Overland Show.
Indeed.
You're
Lots
going
of
to
fun.
Idaho. You're going to Idaho, and then you got to get back to Virginia.
Idaho, then back to Arkansas, then to Kansas, then to Virginia. Yes. Yes.
Wow.
My 4Runner is going to become a 5Runner soon, I think, if that's possible. So, yeah, lots of miles.
That's great.
Good times. I like driving, apparently.
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 All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week. Have a great week.
Bye.